So seal number 2 is talked about in Revelation 6, verse 3 and 4. When he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature saying, "Come and see." Another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another. And there was given to him a great sword. So we have this mental image of a fiery red horse with someone who's sitting on it. Now, it's important to note that this is not the day that he makes war. And this is something that I noticed. If you notice the first seal, the seal was opened on around the time that pandemic started. But that pandemic lasted for years. What was it, 3 years, 3.5 years that it lasted? When did they finally
3.5 years to be exact.
Yeah. So the seals, and this is what I was saying, a couple slides back, the seals seem to mark the start of events, not the fullness of them. And that's really important to keep in mind when you're looking at seal number 2 here, because the one who sits on the fiery red horse is granted, let's see, another fiery red horse went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another, and there was given him a great sword, right? So the common interpretation of this using hermeneutics is that this is indicating that there's going to be great war. But that's not what it says. It says that the one sitting on the horse is granted the ability, it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth. So you're talking about an authority, right?
Right.
And throughout the course of this seal, that we know what his objective is. We know what the effects of the one sitting on that horse is he's going to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another. But there's more to this too. And he was given a great sword. It's assumed that he would use that sword to take peace from the earth and to kill one another, right?
Right.
So this is what happened on December 14th, 2020. There was an eclipse in Ophiuchus. This one was in his knee. I'm going to show you another image that indicates that it was in his foot. But anyway, it's in this section of the sky. Mm-hmm. So if you remember from, did I put the overview here? Here's the overview. I left the overview out. Anyway, you remember the perspective, looking down. So when you're looking down, you see the face of a man. So this eclipse happened in the same section of the sky as the face of a man. Now, remember I said the order of the living creatures was important. The order given was lion, calf, face of a man, flying eagle. It looks like the seals are being opened in reverse order. So the first one was in Aquila. This one is in Ophiuchus. The next one we should look for in Taurus the bull, and then the last one we should look at in Leo the lion. So, and that's exactly what happened. So we're in the second one here.
Does everybody?
This one happened. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I'm just making sure everybody's with us.
Yep.
Just because you flipped through some slides, I just want to make sure everybody. He was looking for something, but if you guys don't have any questions and everybody's with us, we'll continue. But this is fantastic, Watchful.
Yeah, so this is another eclipse that did actually happen on this day, so December 14th, 2020, and it happened to happen in the constellation that when looking down at Earth is the face of a man. Now, this is the one I was telling you about. He's holding a snake, and this is the Greek god Asclepios, and spelled like this, the ancient Greek god of medicine. He was the god of toxinology and toxicology. So it's appropriate that the rider on, and you'll see why, the rider on the fiery red horse is given a great sword. I think I know what that sword is. So here's another image so this is Ophiuchus. This is, I think this is the Chinese constellations. And you can see that it's in the eclipse happened in his foot. So you've got, this is the more modern imagery that's used. This is the more ancient. So the eclipse actually happened in his ankle, which reminds me of Genesis 3:15. The seed of the woman would bruise the head of the serpent, and the serpent would bruise the ankle of him, the heel of him. Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
It is.
Okay. So on this day, this is the day that the Electoral College declared Biden the winner of the presidential election. This was also the same day that Operation Warp Speed was turned over to the Biden administration, and they gave the first jab. Happened on the same day as an eclipse in a constellation that matches the description of one of the four living creatures. And it just happened to happen in the reverse order of the creatures given. So you had, one happen in Aquila. Now you had one happen in Ophiuchus.
So our current administration.
This is where it was visible from. Yep. So this is, and you could argue the power to take peace, office of the presidency, of course, right?
Yeah.
It was granted to the one riding on the horse, the power to take peace. And I would say that he's done a stellar job at doing that, because we went from an administration of peace where the head of that administration was making peace with enemies. And we moved from that administration to an administration that started wars.
Oh, it was incredible. The previous administration actually had a sit down with the president of North Korea. That's never happened in history. Essentially, our biggest adversaries, he had made peace with Russia, North Korea, and even had Iran doing what he had told. It just does. I don't mean to get sidetracked here, but man, what a staggering difference in power and leadership compared to our current administration. Anyways.
Right. So this is where that eclipse was visible from. And if you do any research into that day, this location is actually relatively significant, specifically Argentina. I'll leave that one for you guys to research on your own. But keywords being dominion and being involved in, how the president is determined. Anyway, so I don't think it's any coincidence that this was visible from Argentina.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So here's another video. This is them actually declaring him the winner on that day. So you got December 14th, 2020. This was the day that the Electoral College declared the winner of the election.
And
we don't have sound on here.
I may get crucified for this, but I can't tell you how stupid people look wearing those things on their mouth over their face. And I know people are going to get upset by me saying that, but it almost looks like it's not a covering for some type of illness, but more of a shut up and do as you're told. We don't want to hear what you have to say. We're the sheep. We're just going to do what you say and not ask questions. That's what comes to mind when I see people wearing those. I drive down the street and I'll see someone in a car by themselves wearing one across their face. It's
face diapers.
For some reason, it has just never sit well with me, guys. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my deep down discernment, but I believe 100% that is a control method. And you can immediately tell the sheep that follow the wolves in sheep's clothing doing what they are told to do. I can spot them in a crowd. Like, that person, it's another mental illness patient. Anyways, sorry. Got off on a rant.
Anyway, so here's a video. So you don't have to take my word for it. The internet is backing me up on this one. So this did happen on that day, same day as an eclipse that just happened in a constellation that matches the living creatures. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is them giving. So remember how I said Operation Warp Speed was delivered to the Biden administration? This is them giving the first jab on that day, December 14th, 2020. So just to remind you guys, the same day that somebody received the power to take peace was also the same day that his administration received control over this. and this was the same day that they started giving it. So to me, that matches the description of seal number 2. Someone who's given the power to take peace, and he's given a great sword. Because a sword isn't necessarily something of steel. It is something used to control and subdue.
What does sword mean in Greek or Hebrew?
I don't remember what that one is. We'll have to look that up.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue, please.
Yeah. Oh, so I think I misspoke the other day. I think I had mentioned that Johnson & Johnson was the first one that was made available. I believe that Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson were the first ones. And then I think it was Moderna came shortly after that. I don't exactly remember the order of things. That was that was almost 4 years ago when this happened. But I do remember Johnson & Johnson being one of the first one. This happened on that same day where Pfizer was giving they received emergency authorization to use the Operation Warp Speed.
And that was one thing that I almost somewhat disagreed with you on, is that Johnson & Johnson, I have no respect for them. They've hurt many people over the years. I understand your perspective with them, owning up to something, but that's
anybody practicing pharmakia. I mean, I'm all for the study of medicine. I think it's necessary now after the flood. I'm of the opinion before the flood that God had that all taken care of with the that research that they've done on the what was it? Anyway, the chambers that they can adjust the atmosphere and the oxygen on.
Oh yeah,
how they can actually turn venom from a snake into something that's actually healing. Wouldn't it be interesting if a snake bite actually healed you? Like if you had an ailment, you got bit by a snake, that was like God's original medicine.
Isn't that fascinating? Hey folks, thanks for being here. Again, we really enjoy being with everybody. We go live every day except Friday night, Saturday night. Monday at noon, we go live with Dr. Sean Michael Greener. We appreciate everybody so much.